You walk into a crowded coffee shop. While your friends are busy looking at the menu and debating between oat milk and almond milk, you have already clocked all three exits, identified the couple quietly breaking up in the corner, and noticed that the barista's left eye is twitching in a way that suggests he is about 2 seconds away from a total mental collapse. You haven't even taken your coat off yet, and you have already assessed the structural integrity of the ceiling fan and calculated the quickest route to the door in case of a fire. Most people call this paranoia. Some call it social anxiety. But let's be real, it's not that you hate people, though the evidence for that is certainly mounting. It is not that you are afraid of the world. It is that your brain is processing reality at a resolution that would make a normal person's head explode. You aren't broken. You are just running a high-performance operating system that refuses to ignore the data. Society loves to pathologize this. They call you high-strung, edgy, or tell you to just relax, as if your brain has a simple off switch that you are just too stubborn to locate. They tell you to meditate, to breathe, to go with the flow. But asking you to go with the flow is like asking a grandmaster chess player to just move the pieces randomly because it's more fun. Let's pump the brakes on that gaslighting right now. Society has been completely wrong about you. The world is designed for people who walk around with their eyes half closed, oblivious to the subtle shifts in the atmosphere. You don't have that luxury. You are the one who feels the shift in the air pressure before the storm hits. You are the one who knows something is wrong 5 minutes before anyone else has a clue. You are not broken. You're just built different. You are operating on a tier of awareness that kept our species alive for thousands of years, while the people telling you to chill are the ones who would have been eaten by the saber-toothed tiger because they were too busy manifesting good vibes to hear the twig snap. Let's look under the hood to see why the math just works differently for you. This isn't a personality quirk. It is hardwired neuroscience. Specifically, we need to talk about your amygdala and your reticular activating system. Think of the amygdala not as a fear center, but as your personal ADT security system. In a neurotypical brain, that security system is like an old, sleepy guard dog that only barks if someone actually kicks the door down. Your amygdala? It is a team of Navy SEALs on a caffeine drip, armed with thermal imaging cameras, monitoring the perimeter 24/7. It treats a weird look from a stranger with the same urgency as a physical threat. Then you have the Reticular Activating System, or RAS. This is the bouncer at the nightclub of your mind. Its job is to filter out the noise so you can focus. For most people, the bouncer is a relaxed guy who lets almost everything slide so they can enjoy the party. Your bouncer is a clipboard-wielding micromanager who checks every single ID, frisks every guest, and analyzes the micro-expressions of everyone in line. Your brain doesn't filter out the background noise. It processes it as vital intel. You aren't choosing to be hyper-aware any more than a satellite dish chooses to receive signals. You are simply wired to receive everything. But here is where it gets interesting, and where we flip the script on the anxiety label. Spoiler alert, this trait is not a glitch. It is an evolutionary masterpiece. In the context of survival, hypervigilance is a superpower. You are the Sentinel. Evolutionary psychology suggests that in early human tribes, there were always a few individuals genetically predisposed to high sensitivity and vigilance. While the rest of the tribe slept or ate, the Sentinel was watching the horizon. You are the descendant of the ones who saw the predator first. You are the descendant of the ones who could smell the rain coming. You possess a form of pattern recognition that is so advanced it feels like intuition, but it is actually rapid-fire data processing. You can walk into a meeting and know who holds the real power within 10 seconds, just by watching body language. You can tell when a partner is lying by the cadence of their breath. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The world needs you to be vigilant so they can afford to be oblivious. You are the designated driver of the human race. You spot the red flags that others paint green. So where did this intense software come from? Usually, it is a combination of that ancient Sentinel genetics and a specific type of training ground in childhood. Maybe you grew up in a home where the emotional weather was unpredictable. You learned very quickly that survival meant reading the room. You became an expert meteorologist of human emotion. You learned to distinguish the sound of happy footsteps from angry footsteps in the hallway. You learned that if you could anticipate the needs of the adults around you, you could maintain a sense of safety. Your brain became a pattern recognition machine, constantly scanning for the slightest deviation in tone or routine. This wasn't trauma, it was adaptation. You trained yourself to be a high-level profiler before you even learned long division. You don't just exist in a space. You curate safety for yourself and everyone else by constantly running simulations of what could go wrong. This leads to some wildly specific behaviors that you probably punish yourself for. You know, the quirks that make you feel like the odd one out. You probably have to turn down the radio in the car when you are looking for a parking spot because your visual processing needs the bandwidth that your auditory processing is hogging. You almost certainly sit facing the door in restaurants, not because you think you're James Bond, but because having your back to the room feels like an itch you can't scratch. You notice when a picture frame is crooked by 2 millimeters. You feel a wave of physical ecstasy when plans get canceled, not because you don't like your friends, but because it means you can power down the security system for the night. You probably rehearse conversations in the shower, planning out every possible branch of dialogue like a choose-your-own-adventure book, just to make sure you aren't caught off guard. Wild, right? You aren't crazy. Your brain is just trying to close the open tabs to save battery life. So here is your permission slip. Stop trying to downgrade your resolution to match the standard definition world. You do not need to fix your vigilance. You need to respect it. You need to build a life that honors your need for a sanctuary, a fortress where the bouncer can finally take a break and the Navy SEALs can stand down. You are not antisocial. You just have high standards for where you spend your energy. The world doesn't need you to be another oblivious person drifting through life. It needs you to be exactly who you are. The seer, the protector, the one who knows. Congratulations, you have survived, adapted, and outsmarted the environment. Embrace it. And if this video just explained your entire life, don't scroll. The next video explains why your ability to absorb emotions is actually the reason you are always exhausted.